will call the meeting to order. This is the regular board meeting of the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority, June 28th, 2024. The board did meet in executive session. No votes were taken. Discussion about legal matters and project status. So we'll start with a roll call.
Good morning. Hank McCormick Barron. Here. Jamil Bay.
Here.
BJ Lieber. Here. James Martin.
Present.
Alex Shuley.
Here.
Erica Strasburger.
Here.
BJ McFadden.
Do we have any speakers for public comment?
We have no speakers for public comment.
All right. First action is the approval of the meeting minutes of May 24th, 2024. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes of May 24th, 2024, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the minutes are approved. Confirmation of CEO approvals. All CEO approvals from the prior month are confirmed. We'll move to reports and updates and start with the Finance Department. Mr. Barca. You didn't designate a substitute this week or this month, so you decided to take this on yourself.
We'll see about next month.
Yeah.
Good morning, Chair, or good morning, members of the board. Within your board packet, you will see the financial status update report through May 31st, 2024. Within the report, you will see that year-to-date receipts total about $89 million, which represents about 37% of the total budget for the year. Specifically within May, PWSA experienced stronger than expected receipts for water, wastewater, disk water, disk wastewater, and our other miscellaneous fees and revenues. Within those sources, within May, we collected about $18.5 million as compared to the budget amount of about $17.4 million. It represents about a $1.1 million increase as compared to the budget. That's performed well there. For stormwater, receipts in May total about $2.4 million as compared to the budget amount of $2.5 million. So a very slight under collection there, but no cause for concern on my end, just given that slight under collection. Total forecasted year-end receipts are $239 million. This represents a slight increase over the budget of $325,000, or about 1.4%. So very small increase there. Really what that's showing is we're on track and our trajectory for our actuals. The budget is following so far through the year. So we don't anticipate any major variances cutting into the year end at this point. Departmental operating expenditures through May 31st, 2024, total $43.2 million, or about 37% of the budget. Capital expenditures to that same period total $51.6 million, or about 28% of the budget. $41.1 million in debt service costs that we paid through May 31st, 2024. That represents about 48% of the budget. We'll be making our second semi-annual payment here in September. So while showing it about 50% of our budget, it really is just a factor of just the two large payments that we make throughout the year. Forecasted year-end debt service is projected to be $85.5 million, or about $106,000 lower than budget. So again, right on track where we project so far through the year. Also, PWSA's cash balance on May 31st, 2024 was about $98 million. This is about $7.3 million higher than May 31st, 2023. So we're trending nicely there as well year over year. This concludes my report for today. I'll turn it back over to the board for any questions. Thank you.
Any questions, comments for Mr. Barca? Sounds like a great report. Thank you. All right, we'll move to Rachel Bean and the engineering department.
Good morning, Chair Julie, members of the board. Beginning with an update on our lead service line replacement program. We have replaced a total of 11,349 public and 8,084 private side lead service signs through June 27, 2024 across all contracts. Verification work is currently ongoing in Allentown and Larimer. Replacement work is ongoing in Marshall Shadeland, Allentown, Spring Garden, Homewood North, and Larimer. And restoration work is currently ongoing in approximately 8 neighborhoods across the city. In total, we have currently 5 active construction contracts involving lead service lines, replacement work in various stages, including verification, construction, and restoration. This morning, I will be presenting some slides along with my normal update. In May, the board approved several contracts involving lead service line replacement work. These contracts will begin later this summer and will continue until approximately August of 2025 for the neighborhood contract and through the end of 2025 for the small diameter water main contract. For the remainder of my report, will be showcasing some visual photos of some ongoing current construction work.
Or just make that main screen bigger. Just go back to the original view.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks for your patience. So when you're ready, Herman, you go to the next slide. One back. Any sneak previews? Go ahead, Herman. Thank you. Back one. Back one slide. Thanks. Great. Perfect. Okay. So these are some lead service line replacement photos. The photo on the left shows a lead service line being installed by directional drilling, which is actually not the typical installation method, but is a method of choice by one of our contractors. So here you can see the drill head advancing through the pit. Our existing water main is also located here. You can't see it in the photo, but our existing water main is in that pit. So that drill will continue through across the road to a pit at the sidewalk on the other side of the street. And then the new copper is actually pulled back through the hole that was created and then connected to our water main in this pit that you can see here. The photo on the right is showing 2 new services installed. And these are actually to replace one common service, aka what we would call a party line. This does happen occasionally. So we have here 2 new curb stops, 2 new meters, And those meters eventually will be enclosed in a meter pit or AKA meter crossable tile. Next slide, please. So this is the Aspenwall 48-inch, Aspenwall pump station 48-inch valve replacement. So earlier in June, PWSA successfully replaced a 48-inch valve on the discharge line of our Aspenwall pump station. The old valve needed to be replaced in advance of our upcoming project to renovate the Aspenwall pump station. So this slide shows the old riveted steel piping and the old valve being lifted out and removed from that excavation. Next slide, please. The work included the installation of the new valve, which you can see in the middle and right photo, 3 custom fabricated steel to ductile iron transitions, various ductile iron fittings, and approximately 1,000 bolts for all of the connections, some of which you can see in the right and middle photo. And in the left photo, you can see that the old piping had been removed, and one of the steel to ductile iron transition fittings on the right of that photo has been welded onto the existing steel line on the far right. This entire pump station was shut down for approximately 3 weeks during this work and subsequent startup, and this required quite a bit of extensive advanced planning from operations and engineering. And I think it's safe to say that everyone is relieved that this work was completed without any major issues. Next slide. So these are just some interesting photos that I thought I would include. On the left, a little hard to see, but it's a piece of the old riveted steel that was removed, and there's some stamping on it. It says Carnegie with some numbers. We don't know what those numbers mean, unfortunately, but it's still interesting to see. And on the right, clearly an old photo. This is the installation of the 60-inch Landsberg rising main. And unfortunately, don't know where that was taken picture, but thought it was a great picture to share. Next slide, please. Next project I wanted to share is the sludge, what we call the sludge chamber project at the Aspenwall treatment plant. This project has numerous components, and importantly, one of them is replacing the pumps in the wet well, which we also call the wedge chamber. And this receives clarifier residuals, or AKA sludge, during clarifier draining or maintenance. This picture on the left, taken early in the project, shows a Dr. truck pumping out the chamber so that demolition work could begin. And on the right, showing the filter backwash drain piping connection to this wet well. This piping was actually removed as part of this project, and the remaining pipe stub was capped. Next slide, please. The photo on the left, much of the demolition work had already occurred, and the opening from the chamber to the river outfall is being sealed. So you may recall last month I mentioned that as part of this project, we reached a milestone in that the outfall to the river was permanently sealed as a requirement of our administrative agreement with EPA. So on the right, you can see this is the permanent seal, the physical filling of that hole with concrete is shown in that. It's a little hard to see, but that photo on the right is what's being shown there. Next slide, please.
Rachel, can I ask what's probably a really stupid question? If it's sealed to the river and it's capped on the other end, does that mean it has no purpose anymore, that segment of pipe?
Right, so that segment of pipe from that chamber to the river would no longer be used, because we don't want that. We don't want any chance that those residuals can make it to the river.
Okay.
So the residuals will be pumped out and properly discharged to the Alphasan system.
Okay, great, thanks.
Next is our Highland Reservoir pump station. For the next 3 slides, I'm just going to show the progression of the work at this pump station, which is located adjacent to our Highland 2 reservoir. You can see the initial excavation on the left, which is the 16-foot depth. On the right is some drone footage. You can see the existing Highland Reservoir pump station at the towards the top of the photo, and then the full extent of the excavated area. This photo was taken during the installation of the foundation caissons. Next slide, please. On the left is another drone photo from the same vantage point, showing the excavation fully backfilled with the aggregate foundation subbase. And on the right, you can see the vapor barrier installed prior to pouring the foundation, the mat foundation, as well as the preparation for rebar placement, which is all the green. Next slide, please. Next photo, to make things a little confusing is taken from the opposite side of the excavation. You can see poured concrete, now the mat foundation on the bottom half, and then the vapor barrier on the upper half, top half. And finally, in the last photo, on the right, you can see, maybe a little hard to see, the vertical rebar being installed in preparation for the poured concrete walls. And in the back left, you can see the installation of rebar for the mat foundation up there. So as previously reported, this project continues to progress on schedule. Next slide. This is a stormwater project, improvements project in the Stanton Heights neighborhood, or Jacudi Way project. This was initiated due to complaints of multiple overland flooding events that had been increasing in frequency and severity. The project consisted of installing 3 large underground stormwater storage tanks, all located within public rights of way. This is a joint cost share project with the city of Pittsburgh. So the left photo shows the excavation for one of the stormwater tanks in Adelphia Street. And the photo on the right shows a manhole section with an outlet control structure. And this project is expected to be completed in mid-August. Next photo, slide. Our 2021 large diameter sewer rehabilitation project. As the city and PWSA began working on the city's Southside Park project, we discovered that our rising mains 1 and 2 were actually physically going directly through a 72-inch brick sewer. And one of those 30-inch mains going through the sewer can be seen in the photo on the left. So that's the rising main going right to the top of the sewer. So this project involved reinstalling about 350 feet total for both rising mains to move them out of the sewer. We also did some geopolymer lining for approximately 1,300 feet of that existing brick sewer. Shown on the right is the inside, a little hard to see, the inside of the pipe after the geopolymer lining had been installed. And I included this, you may recall last month I mentioned that our 2020 large diameter sewer rehabilitation project won a National Engineering Award. And this is the exact same type of material that was installed on that project. Next slide.
Can I ask, what year was the original rising main? When was that installed approximately?
These rising mains were installed in the early 1900s. Anyone knows better, feel free to correct me.
I think that's about the time frame, yeah.
So same project. On the right is one of the new 30-inch rising mains being installed to replace the mains that were going through that sewer. And then on the left, as part of the project, the city is raising the grade in some areas of the park, and this necessitated us raising our manholes, 1 or 2 of which were already buried to begin with. So this shows a brick manhole, and you can see the rebar placed, which will support a pour-to-place concrete base, and then precast riser sections will be stacked above that to bring that manhole up to the necessary grade. Next slide. So this is our one of our urgent sewer contracts, the Fair Oak sinkhole. This is a very recent project that really underscores the need for our urgent contracts. So you can see in the left photo that a sinkhole has developed in this yard in very close proximity to the residential structure, as well as there's a steep drop in the retaining wall that you can't see that behind on the other side of that fence. The photo on the right shows the excavated area, which had to be very carefully laid back. This area was evaluated by a geotechnical engineer and ultimately filled with aggregate. The sinkhole happened this spring and the yard is actually now completely stabilized, and the owner, I'm told, is happily mowing their lawn. So next slide, please. So to resolve the issue of the sinkhole created by the sewer, which was very deep under that yard, we relocated a little over 500 feet of 12 and 15-inch sewer line on Fair Oaks, which is shown in this picture, and this is located in Squirrel Hill. The photo on the left shows the bypass pumping arrangement, and the photo on the right was taken during the project, showing the excavated area temporarily plated for the night. And currently, the only item remaining on this project is final paving. Next slide. an example of one of our sewers under structures contract. This particular project was performed under that contract due to its complexity. This is located in the Strip District. You can actually see the Liberty Commons building on the right side of both photos. This consisted of relaying about 145 feet and then lining another 150 feet of 18-inch sewer. The project was physically bound by the MLK Junior East Busway that you can see on the right in both photos, and by Brereton Street at the top of the hill, which can be seen in the photo on the right, left side of the photo on the right. So it was complicated by, as you can see, this very steep hillside between these two roadways, as well as a retaining wall supporting the 28th Street Bridge, not shown in the photo. The photo on the left shows the installation of a new manhole, and the photo on the right provides some perspective on the steepness of that hillside, which really added to the project complexity. And this is the next slide, please. So this is the last project that I'll be showing here. This is the 2022 large diameter sewer rehabilitation in Kelly Street. This project consists primarily of installing new and replacing deteriorated manholes. And what makes this project challenging is just the sheer depth of the sewer. And these next photos will show the complexity of replacing a manhole at a depth of about, we're talking about 40 feet to the bottom of this brick sewer. So on the left, you can see a small excavator. It looks bigger than it actually is, being lowered into the supported excavation that had already been prepared. We'll see more of that on the next slide. And then the photo on the right shows the brick sewer itself. Prior to installing a new manhole, we did apply gunite to the interior of that sewer for about 25 feet on either side to help prevent the sewer from unraveling during our work. Next slide. These next two slides and 4 photos just show the progression of the work inside of this supported structure. On the left, that excavator that looked kind of big in the last picture you can see is sitting down at the bottom of that excavation on top of the brick sewer. And on the right, you can see the installed rebar at the bottom prior to concrete placement. Next slide. In these two pictures, you can see the progression and continuation of the work with the installation of the manhole and the drop pipe connections to the new manhole as the work slowly continues up to grade. Lastly, in construction updates, I wanted to mention that final restoration for the Fuchsia Way sewer line replacement was completed in May of 2024. For those who may recall, this was a challenging project that was initiated due to a severely deteriorated sewer in a narrow alleyway in Hamlet. I think that's the last slide. Okay, so moving on to requests for qualifications. As mentioned in my recent reports, PWSA has been conducting a request for qualification process for new on-call consultants, and we're pleased to announce that that selection process is complete. Next week, our procurement department will be sending notification letters to the vendors to begin the process of executing master service agreements. In the meantime, we have available here at the meeting a handout of the list of consultants who were selected for each category. Consultants who were not selected will have the option to request a short debrief by category. Please note that debriefs will not be offered to consultants who were selected for a given category. I'd like to thank all of the 57 vendors who took the time and effort to prepare and submit qualifications. I also want to thank PWSA's procurement department, especially Felicia Meza, for expertly facilitating this process. I want to acknowledge the 17 employees in the engineering and construction department who spent many, many hours carefully reviewing the 140 proposals that we received. And last but not least, our Deputy Director, Pete Meckler, deserves special recognition for leading the entire process from beginning to end and ensuring that it was completed in an organized, timely, and ethical manner. So I'm almost finished. One more update. The following engineering project is currently out for construction bid. That's our 2020 sewers under structure contract 1, Carroll Street rebid. Bids are due July 23rd. This concludes my report. Thank you for your attention, and I'll turn it over to the board for any questions.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Any questions or comments for Rachel?
I'd just like to thank you for showing us the pictures. It really helps for, I think for the board to really understand the scope and the amount of work that we're doing. So thank you for that. And I had a specific question. Was it an anomaly to have a water line running through a sewer, or does that exist elsewhere in our system?
It shouldn't exist, but it does happen. I wouldn't say it, from my experience, not super common, but it does happen. You also, unfortunately, see gas lines going through sewers as well. So try to get those out of there, obviously, as soon as we can.
Thanks.
I had
Jim.
Were there any dewatering requirements for some of these deep excavations?
Dewatering.
Right.
That's a good question. I might phone a friend. I'm not sure if Don Gahn is on the line, but if you were there, Don, can you recall off the top of your head if there were any dewatering needs for these deep excavations, like maybe the 2020 Kelly Street project? I don't know off the top of my head, but I would imagine, I mean, that is kind of typical when you're getting that deep.
I was just gonna say, it looks like really good work. Showing what it is you do in engineering is really important because we take that for granted sometimes. There's a lot of thought and diligence and professionalism in that. So I think it gives a better idea for what we do. So.
Yeah, I would echo both Jim and BJ that makes it all much more real to see the pictures. And kudos to all the people who do the work because that's amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Well,
we're happy to take the board on site visits anytime.
well, congratulations to staff. Obviously, tremendous amount of work to manage that. Congratulations to our consultants, to our contractors, to all our vendors who contribute that. I agree with those comments. You know, people woke up this morning and turned their water on for coffee or take a shower or whatever the case may be, and didn't give one thought about these sewers under structures and water and all the projects that are going on. But here at the authority, we have their back, and we're doing some fantastic work. And yeah, thank you for those pictures. Clearly, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And you know, as an engineer, I feel a sense of pride seeing all that work being accomplished and without incident, without any safety problems, without interruption to service. It's a tremendous accomplishment. So congratulations.
All those to the team. Thank you.
All right, we'll move to Chief Environmental Compliance and Ethics Officer report. Frank, you may have to up your game. I mean, you know, we got Rachel up there, you know, we love your presentations, but you know, that was, you know, quite a show.
All right, next month. Let me wait for audio help here.
Right.
All right. Well, good morning. Thank you. Hopefully everybody can hear me online. Spoke to you in the past about our MS4 systems, but wanted to give you a little more detail here this month. So our MS4 is our municipal separate storm sewer system, or MS4 permit. It's an NPDES permit that we have, and we're a co-permittee with the city of Pittsburgh. And it regulates our stormwater only sewers. So these are ones that collect stormwater and discharge directly to a surface water. And this would be opposed to ones that might collect stormwater and combine that with sanitary wastewater. Those we consider combined sewers. The annual reporting period for our MS4 permit actually ends here in a couple of days on June 30th. So that's why it's timely here to share this update with you. In the past year, the Environmental Compliance Department has been working to comply with those permit requirements and coordinate with the city of Pittsburgh on their responsibilities and their permit. And so to share with you a few of the highlights for both yourself and then for the public to also understand what we're doing. I've got 6 items here today that I'll go through briefly. First is inspection of outfalls. We conduct these throughout the year to identify and monitor what we call priority stormwater outfalls. And these inspections include both a physical inspection, so an actual look at the outfall. We perform water sampling if the outfall is actually flowing, if flow is present. And if necessary, we may investigate on any potential illicit connection. This would be a connection to that storm water that's maybe not stormwater, so an industrial connection, a sewer connection, or something like that. PWSA currently actually manages 55 priority separate stormwater outfalls under our MS4 permit. Our GIS department has been providing essential support to us to help update mapping. One of our requirements is to maintain an accurate map of our stormwater assets. And this includes both mapping the stormwater pipes and systems themselves, as well as the outfalls, inlets, and also actually the waterways that they connect to. We've conducted employee training. This training has provided information to prevent and reduce stormwater pollution from activities such as building maintenance, construction activities, as well as actual maintenance of that stormwater system. We've used our online learning management system, which I've spoke about before, to help deliver and track this annual MS4 training to all PWSA staff. And we completed that here just a couple of months ago in April and May of this year. In November, we conducted a public meeting. The public meeting was set forth to help educate and update our community about our MS4 infrastructure and our stormwater management plans. The meeting provided a summary of our progress, the different activities we've conducted, and accomplishments as they relate to our separate stormwater sewers, as well as we provide general information to the public regarding common stormwater terminology, different types of stormwater pollution, and how we monitor our MS4 system. And importantly, how the community or public can actually report if they have a concern about an illicit discharge or a discharge they see to our stormwater system that they witness and may not feel is appropriate. We also have been working on a number of stream bank restoration projects. These are for sediment and other pollutant reduction work in various watersheds, including Sawmill Run, Glass Run, and an unnamed tributary to Chartiers Creek. And finally, we've also been maintaining and updating our website to help provide information to the public on our MS4 system. If anybody would like to access that, you can go to pgh20.com and just search MS4. That'll bring you to our municipal separate storm sewer link. And there you can find a lot of additional resources on our program, as well as a recorded version of that November public meeting, if yourselves or the public would like to review that information. Finally, in July of 2021, so I'll go back a couple of years, the EPA had issued an administrative order on consent to the city of Pittsburgh and PWSA regarding our MS4 program and compliance with our MS4 permit. That order that was issued by EPA required the city and PWSA to develop and implement a program for conducting inspections and enforcement of our construction of erosion and sedimentation controls, as well as post-construction best management practices. PWSA in the city has been issuing quarterly reports to EPA to provide them updates since 2021 on the actions that we have completed under that particular order. At the very beginning of this month, EPA provided us a letter and acknowledged that the actions that we had taken were appropriate, and they have terminated that administrative order. So they've let us out from under the requirements of that administrative order on consent. One stipulation is the city still has a couple of stormwater inspectors that they are actively proceeding with their certification and training, which needs to be completed on the schedule that has been submitted. So happy to share with you, these are a few of many different activities that we conduct to comply with our MS4 permit. Again, you can take a look at our website to get additional information on that. I'm happy to answer any questions here you have today also. And I'll just wrap up as I always like to say, if you, our staff, consultants, contractors have questions on compliance or ethics, I'm always available so you can reach out. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Frank. Any questions or comments for Mr. Sudari? Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to the Chief Executive Officer report. Will, you've been a little busy lately, welcoming a new member of the family, so congratulations to you. So, but your staff performed admirably in your absence and of course, didn't miss a beat, but let's hear what you've been up to over besides all the family stuff.
Thank you. Well, in normal fashion, I will talk about things others are doing. And as was obvious in Rachel's presentation this summer, the team has been very busy. BJ, I think you used the word sort of breadth and that slideshow. Thanks for your indulgence in us figuring out the AV. But, to go from someone's essentially a backyard sinkhole to a brand new pump station in Highland Park to replacing valves that are 120 years old. We're doing it all, and it's taken an immense team effort, not just PWSA staff, but Alex, like you said, our contractors and consultants. I'm really proud of our team getting out, working from the city and getting out from under that administrative consent order. A tremendous amount of work going on and has been going on for years. There's going to be more to come from Frank and myself about retiring some of these obligations and getting within compliance at all levels of the organization. So really excited about our growth there. We went through so much. I don't have a ton today and want to get into the business of the board, but did want to call attention that we had 3 members of our team present at the AWWA Annual Conference and Expo, known as ACE. It's sort of the preeminent drinking water conference. We are having a presence at these events. Frank presented on his programs and the evolution of PWSA from a period of 2017 or so to now. So talking about our core values, talking about Public Utility Commission oversight, everything we're doing here and really telling the story of PWSA. Julie Meckling, our Director of Customer Service, presented on our customer experience, which is really a broad term for everything we're doing to consider the customer, whether it's our assistance programs that we really do feel are leading the nation and how we're approaching assistance on bills, to proactive programs, getting in homes and providing them assistance with plumbers to satisfy leaks that are driving up bills. We're getting out and telling our story and very well received. And then finally, we continue to be at the forefront on lead service line replacement. Rachel highlighted we're over, I think about 11,500 lines replaced. So Dan Duffy, our lead program manager, was on a panel talking about how we've been able to get inside homes into private lead service line replacement. And you may recall, we did some innovative testing of the homes on for our corrosion control effectiveness. So we were taking 1st liter and 5th liter samples and trying to determine how effective our corrosion control was. So we were able to share that with other utilities. Folks are eager to learn from us and we're putting a great foot forward. So as you mentioned, I was a little busy. I couldn't be at ACE, but we were really well represented and we're continuing to expand our presence nationally. And again, that's thanks to everyone, but especially the guidance of this board. So with that, I will wrap my remarks and happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Will? Comment? Great, thank you. We'll move to resolutions and we'll start with resolution number 40. Mr. Sadiri.
Right, hello again. Resolution number 40 is approving the award of excavated material disposal to Vigliotti Landscaping and Construction Incorporated. This is from the operating budget and the amount not to exceed $2,540,421.49. And I'll note this is for a base year and then 4 option years, so total of 5 years.
Very good. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 40, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 40 is approved. We move to resolution number 41 and back to Rachel.
Approving the renumbering of 2 past board resolutions titled approving the award of capital contracts for the construction of the interconnection vault stormwater removal project, original meeting date April 26, 2024, and authorizing the application and agreement for Alcasians Grove grant program for the Southside Platte Sewer Separation Project, original meeting date of May 24th, 2024, renumbering these as 30A of 2024 and 30B of 2024 respectively.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 41, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution 41 is approved. Resolution 42, Rachel.
Approving the award of a capital contract for construction of the Braywood Stormwater Improvements Project to A. Moranti Contracting and entering into a reimbursement agreement with the city of Pittsburgh. Capital budget, $1,033,312.14.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
BJ, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? What is the size of this contract, Rachel, do you know?
The size,
The total for Domi and so forth that they're doing?
the split, let's see, PWSA will pay 906,461 and Domi will pay 391,199. I believe that would include some design costs as well, which, so that's higher than the contract that we're awarding, but that's
Thank
the
you.
split.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution 42, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Resolution 42 is approved. Resolution 43.
This is approving a change order of an operating contract for the construction of 2024 surface restoration project to Mealy and Sons and an amendment of a professional service agreement operations for construction management and inspection services to Hatch Associates. Cumulative operating budget, $2.7 million.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Erica, is there a second?
Second.
Jamil, any discussion?
What was the reason for the change?
The reason is we basically have quite a bit of paving. So the paving that happens under this project is to restore repairs made by operations during the normal course of business. We do our best to budget for this as well as we can, given our annual operating budget each year. And we basically had a lot more paving to do and the costs were a little higher than we thought. So we're reallocating some funds to try to get some more of that paving done.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution 43, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution 43 is approved. We move to resolution number 44.
Approving the award of capital contracts for the construction of the lime slurry system and sodium permanganate system improvements project. General mechanical to Kokosing, plumbing to SSM, and electrical to Lanco. Cumulative capital budget, $4,525,000.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Jim Martin.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 44, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution 44 is approved. And we move to the final resolution. Mr. Barca. Put you at the end just to make sure you'd stay for the whole meeting.
Make sure I stayed awake. That's
Yeah.
it. Resolution number 45 of 2024, authorizing the financial assistance applications and a letter of no prejudice to be submitted to the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority, known as PennVest, for the 2023 small diameter water main replacement project in the aggregate amount of $70,784,910.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
BJ, is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Peg. Any discussion? So the breakdown here between loan and grant, or is this mostly?
We
I
anticipate,
know this is a no prejudice letter, but where we're headed with this particular loan.
yeah, we anticipate about $6 million in grant funds, the remainder of loans. And the only reason I say that is because that $6 million represents specific lead replacements through this project. The final amount will be determined based upon PennVesta's allocation, but historically, that's the trend we've seen.
Okay, great. All those in favor of resolution number 45, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 45 is approved. Is there any other business to come before the board? Well, on behalf of the board, I want to wish all of our staff, ratepayers, vendors, contractors, everyone a happy 4th of July as we celebrate our nation's independence here in a few days. And it's going to be an interesting year for sure. So, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.